Well, we're having a conversation about AI this morning, and to do so, let me welcome Gerard Llanos, who is an AI trainer and an AI tech adoption consultant. And on Zoom, we have Jeff Abbott, founder and chief organizer of AI Salon. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to the Now Morning Show. Hope that you're doing great this morning.
Good morning.
All right, let me start
Good
with you,
morning to you
Gerard.
both.
Tell me a little bit about GNC Labs and how you got into the AI game, generally speaking.
I don't think initially there was an AI game.
Okay.
It happened. It happened in late 2022 that large language models became publicly available. And we immediately grasped the implications of this technology. And by January, we were training people and speaking to our clients. We are established business consultants. We were training people and speaking to those companies about the impact of AI. And over time, we thought we were alone in this journey to prepare the Caribbean for this technological revolution that is happening. And then we realized that we were not alone. There's actually a global ecosystem of people who are taking on this challenge and benefiting from the changes and the capabilities that it affords. And that is where our relationship with AI Salon sprouted and began to take some form. So we are now part of this global ecosystem of people who understand the implications of AI and are getting up to do something about it to get people, industries, and institutions ready.
All right. We get into these implications in a little bit, but let me bring Jeff into the conversation. Jeff, tell me about AI Salon. What is it exactly?
AI Salon is a global community that's designed to bring together founders and builders of AI technologies with investors and partners to collaborate and learn together and share best practices. And it was started out of a need that I felt in my community. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm also a partner in a venture capital fund that invests in early stage AI companies. And so I began at the same time that Gerard is describing the explosion of interest with the release of the large language models. I started traveling twice a month to San Francisco, where today there are probably over 175 events every month bringing together people to discuss different aspects of AI. And I returned to my community and I couldn't find a single one. And I traveled then to Europe and to South America and found similar situations in cities there. So I launched some trial events. And after doing that successfully in 5 locations, I decided to start this, but to try to start it everywhere. And so what we've built is a decentralized chapter-based model that's all unified together on a global platform that we'll be launching soon. And our goal is to facilitate relationships and resource sharing, and really to flatten the learning curve that exists between, the epicenter, let's say Silicon Valley, of where these technologies and ideas are born, and to shorten the time that it takes for people everywhere to have access and knowledge of the most cutting edge business models, so that everyone has an equal chance to succeed and have a voice in the changes that AI are making possible. And so we're building a global ecosystem united on an online platform designed to bring together people like the ones that Gerard is bringing into his community with people from communities all over the world. We're currently in cities on 5 continents, in 60 cities, and we expect that number to double or triple over the course of this year.
Nice. Congratulations. I mean, to be able to take it on a global level like that is definitely very interesting. Gerard, let me come back to you and ask about the implications that you mentioned earlier
The implications
of
are
AI.
the implications are not technical. They are human.
Right.
We are living through what future textbooks will be written on, where technology is evolving very quickly before our eyes, and that technology expands the capability of everyday humans to do all sorts of different things. It also expands the capability of institutions, of buildings, of systems, etc., etc., etc. There's no sector, there's no job, there's no business that is not going to have to change as a result of this democratization that is going on. in the Caribbean, we're not aware. We've always been change averse. We've always been a laggard space in terms of technology adoption.
And we have that fear of it.
And we have that fear, again, because we're not embracing that things are always changing. But in this particular instance, the change is so pronounced, the change is so revolutionary, that if you as a media professional don't understand how media is going to be changed by AI, or it's being changed already, then maybe your opportunity to excel is affected, or maybe in the worst case scenario goes away. And on a bigger and more macro level, what happens to Trinidad and Tobago as an economy? What happens to the Caribbean as an economic bloc, as CARICOM as an economic bloc, when our traditional business models are no longer competitive? I suggest to you that if people can get past that fear, can embrace that this technology is here and figure out how to make it work for them, people are always inventive. They're going to change up the game. They're going to do things we can't even imagine. If they can only embrace that it's here and begin to say, what can I do with this tool? We're here to facilitate that conversation, and we are so happy that we are not alone in our world and that there are people all over the world who are championing the same things that we are championing.
So just to be clear, right, the AI Salon is actually just training sessions on AI.
No.
What is it then?
AI Salon is a global ecosystem.
But it's the ecosystem, but in the ecosystem, aren't you training and making people more aware of how to use the AI?
I want Jeff to take a stab at this question, but before he does, what I am saying is that there are different people doing different things in the ecosystem.
Right.
There are people investing in the ecosystem.
Right.
There are people having conversations in the ecosystem. There are people talking. There are people listening. There are people writing. There are people creating.
Okay.
There are people blogging. There are people TikToking. So there's all sorts of stakeholders all over the world doing different things that empower people.
Okay.
Yeah?
But isn't it all based in education, though? In terms of people blogging, people writing, people listening, it sounds all like AI education to me.
But beyond education, it's AI utilization.
Okay.
Because let's just say, so for instance, I was at a recent AI Salon event, and there were people presenting who were content specialists.
Right.
So all they do, they figure out how to make cutting edge content with AI. And maybe part of that was education. But a little beyond that, it wasn't really education anymore. It was creatives talking. Well, you do this? Yeah, but you could do it this way, and you could spin it this way, and this is the prompt, and this is the engine, and this is the NLP, and they go off in a collaboration tangent.
Right.
So it's not necessarily training, but it's creating the space in which to do all kind of magical things.
All right.
Let's let Jeff take a stab at it.
Jeff, is that summing it up in a nutshell?
I think it's a little bit of both. So we certainly are primarily a community. So as Gerard says, communities are forming every month. They come together in cities all over the world, and they listen to guest speakers. So there is an education component. The people who are building startups or experimenting with new technologies, who have created something or who are facing a problem, have a chance to present and share what they're learning with the community and get feedback. And then it develops into networking sessions. So we really wanted to start, to pick up on the theme that Gerard offered with the human part of this, right? It's important that this is in real life. It's important that people are meeting, having conversations, understanding the impact that this will have and the opportunity that learning and repositioning themselves will have to amplify their own capabilities. This is nothing short of groundbreaking in terms of how it amplifies each one of our individual abilities. And so all of the roles that we play in our life, whether it's a parent or a professional or an educator, are going to be affected by this. And so it's an in real life community. It is focused on education, providing a forum for expert speakers to share what they know, a place for startup founders and people who are building AI technologies to share what they're working on and get feedback. And into this community this year, we will be introducing formal AI education offerings and certifications. We plan to introduce a job and talent board so that people in the different communities around the world can contract with one another, employ one another, and finally to develop this into an investment vehicle so that someone in Trinidad and Tobago who has a startup might find an investor from a member of one of the other communities, or vice versa. And so we are consciously turning this into an ecosystem where the different needs of the different stakeholders are being met both by the community and by one another, right?
All right. Completely understood. Thank you so much for that, Jeff. Before we wrap this morning, though, tell me about the AI Salon Port of Spain chapter launch. It's happening on March 27th.
Thursday.
This Thursday.
This Thursday.
Right. Talk to me. When? Where is it? What time is it? How do we be a part of it?
So get across to the House of Chan at 6 p.m. And that's where we're going to be meeting for our inaugural official chapter launch. It's going to be a load of fun. Don't think of it as a stuffy lecture. It is a
networking event.
An AI line.
AI line.
AI line. But we are expecting some groundbreaking speakers in terms of companies.
Right.
That's really the highlight of it, is that we're going to do an innovators spotlight where we're going to let people hear from companies who are already working this thing and making it make sense for them.
Yeah.
And that's
see
what
how the network can benefit as well.
And the heart of it is we just want people to realize this isn't science fiction. It is real, and it's more good than bad.
Okay.
And the bad gets worse if we don't face it together and educate ourselves. Ignorance is the real enemy.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. Gerard Llanos, the AI trainer and tech adoption consultant out of GNC Labs. And we have as well online Jeff Abbott, founder and chief organizer of AI Salon. Thank you both for joining us this morning.